Hey everyone, Fifth Bridge Sports here. We hope you're doing well. It's been some crazy times recently, both around the world and in COVID. We hope you had a solid new year. Today we're going to be going over some players to add in week 12. We're going to cover everything you need to know about week 12 in fantasy basketball this week. Also on our show is our boy Batu, finally back. Yeah, it's good to see him.
Thank
Let's get started.
All right, so we'll start off looking at how many games each NBA team is going to be playing. The notable one for this week is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies. They got 5 games. Other than that, slides here. Feel free to reference it if you want to take a look and see who you want to pick up. So next we got total games played by day. Tuesday and Thursday are lower volume game days. We have a picture of Thursday showing who's playing there. Memphis is playing on the lowest volume game day. So because of that, low volume game day, playing 5 games this week. Best fantasy team is going to be Memphis. If you have the opportunity to get someone or have players on their team, definitely go for that.
So we're gonna this is gonna be special. We're gonna talk about what to do when your player is put in a COVID protocol. Most of you have been probably getting this in the past 2 weeks. It has been very tough for all fantasy managers.
Yeah.
Half our teams are like in my league. My team had 9 players on COVID protocols, and at that point, if you're in a deep league, you don't know who to pick up, right? So our biggest recommendation is if your player is good and has been producing for you and they've been placed on COVID protocol, if you have an IR spot or injury IL spot, put them there. Wait till they come off because they will come back. This is not like a 3 week injury period. It's only 10 days. We know they're going to come back. And if you don't have those spots, and if they're a good player, keep them on your team. Don't make hasty decisions. Yeah, that's our biggest recommendation.
Another thing,
Now
I was going to say, since another thing, depending on your commissioner in your league, you can always look at adding IL spots mid-season since the crazy amount of COVID we have. I have a bit of mixed feelings about that, but it is an option. You could advocate for it in your league if you're really down bad with COVID.
Yeah, for sure. If the whole league agrees, maybe you do it. But drop a
Mhm.
comment. Tell us how many players you've got in IL right now, or just that are out. For me, I think
Yeah,
it's been. I think it was 10 this week. It's been a little bit extreme.
down rough.
Down bad.
down historically there. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to our waiver pickups for the following week. We've been hearing Klay Thompson might make a comeback. Uh, he's been doing good in practice. He's basically doing full practice with the team right now. He'll hopefully come back in the week or so. So if he has been dropped in your league, pick him up because when he comes back, he will come back full. And hopefully he will not get injured. But when he's on the court, he'll definitely produce. You want him on your team. Next up, we got Marcus Morris Sr. This kind of goes on the Clippers situation. We got Paul George out. They don't have Kawhi, and with those two out, they don't have much left in the team. So Marcus Morris will go out there, put some good numbers. His rostering rate went up significantly by 28%. So people are really picking him up. Get him on your team if you can. Next up, we got Mario Seven. He's on the Heat. Maybe not haven't heard of him. His rostering went up also very high with both centers, Bam Adebayo and Deadman out due to COVID and other injuries. So and he's been playing for the past week and he's averaged really good numbers. Maybe he will keep his spot. You can consider him as a temporary pick while the other centers are in IL.
Yeah, fair enough, man. It's well said. And Morris is, I think, their number one option right now. I could be wrong. But next on our list here is Nicholas Claxton. Plays for Brooklyn right now. He's been starting, and recently he's dropped um, 3 fantasy point games. So the signs are there for a strong finish to the season. Luke Kennard is currently on the Clippers, and oh, they've been hit with a good amount of COVID-related injuries, and then the whole Paul George situation where he's out for the next couple weeks. So he should definitely be looking at just an increased amount of playing time, increased amount of shots. So Luke Kennard's definitely going to be trending up. Eric Gordon, he's ranked 138th, plays for Houston right now. He's a veteran, so he will bring you. He will bring your team some consistency. He's been putting up decent numbers, and in 14 team leagues, definitely worth a look.
Yeah, next we got Gary Harris here, rostered in 33% of leagues. So he's been having some pretty good fantasy value recently, and a large part of that is due to Orlando Magic having a depleted backcourt, whether it's due to COVID or some of the injuries. Cole Anthony has had an ankle injury. It looks like he will be returning soon, which could affect some of the value we see from Gary Harris. But then we got Suggs and Markel Fultz, who are also missing time, injured, COVID protocols. So we're not really sure when those guys will be coming back. Could be a little bit of time. Gary Harris has been producing well, should hold some value for this week. Definitely a good person to add if you're looking to fill a spot for the week. So we have Herbert Jones here once again. We called him out when he was 0%, so I think he's our biggest
roster.
Yeah. So biggest recommendation by Fifth Bridge Sports this year, probably. Now 33% rostered. So yeah, he's been starting for the Pelicans. Seems like that role's pretty solidified. Recently had a game where he put up, north of 40 fantasy points. On the season, he's averaging 8 points, 3.7 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 1 block, 1.3 steals. Really just filling up the stat sheet everywhere. Hopefully, as he's, gets deeper into the season, it normally just gets better and better for rookies. So if that trend's there for Herbert Jones, could be worth picking up. Next, we have Dante DiVincenzo. Didn't put it here, but he's rostered in 20% of leagues. He's just coming back off injury. He's only played 3 games so far, hasn't done anything. Super noteworthy, around 20 points in 2 of those games. So he's been averaging 25 fantasy points per game last season prior to this injury stuff. Because of that, we think, he might be worth picking up depending on your league and your situation.
All right. Next, we're going to go over some players to add in really deep leagues. So we're going to start with Metu here. He's ranked 184th. He's been productive in the minutes he's played. The Kings are kind of a mess right now, so if you like a little bit of risk, if your team's doing good, maybe consider picking him up. Our next name, Campazzo, and he's been going off lately, and some of this is due to injuries to Denver, COVID-related. Like, I know for sure Bones is out, I think Morris is out, and a couple more players that are in the rotation. So keep an eye on that. If players start to come back, his usage will probably go down, but until then, he's putting up solid numbers.
My cue. All right. Next up, we got to pick his. Sorry, I'm not used to this. Been away a long time. So, Rajon Rondo, big news. He got traded he is going to Cleveland because Ricky Rubio said peace out to his ACL. He got injured. In this opportunity, they signed Rajon Rondo from the Lakers, which I'm kind of happy for the guy because he was kind of getting ignored in the Lakers, and he is a player with such potential, great game IQ. He had an amazing role in carrying the Lakers into the playoffs. He had a good role in it, and when he's given the minutes and the opportunity to produce, he will definitely do so. So if he is not picked up in your league, I know just until recently it wasn't picked up in ours. Pick him up because now he will be getting more likely like around 35 minutes a game, and then he will be putting up 40 fantasy points or so. That's our prediction. So get your hands on him as soon as you can. The stats shown here are his Lakers stats, which are not good predictors of his performance. He's definitely going to be doubling or tripling some of these numbers. So definitely get on him as soon as you can. We got Rudy Gay also. He's been putting up very consistent 20 points or so, 20 fantasy points or so over the past couple of games here. And then again, he'll be a decent pickup. Obviously, don't pick him up if you have better options. If you have a player in his position, and if you have a small forward that's been producing better, hold on to them, but he'll be a decent pickup for you.
Next, I got Stanley Johnson. So he's on a 10-day contract with the Lakers. On that 10-day contract, he has found his way into the starting lineup. So there's no real guarantee here with his production. He has had some really good fantasy games so far. He's put up over 15 fantasy points over his last 3 games. So depending on your league, those can be pretty respectable numbers. With him, he might be worth taking a short-term chance on. seeing how it goes in the upcoming weeks, see if he gets a guaranteed contract or anything more there. For now, he's 1% rostered, low risk type of player, so might as well just take a flyer on him if you got a spot, especially with all this COVID. Next, we have Justice Winslow. He's rostered 0%. In his last fantasy game, he did put up 29 fantasy points in 18 minutes. So with Paul George missing, some time, that has kind of been something coming up across our list here today. There is that opportunity for a lot of players to step up when your best player is going down. Justice Winslow might be one of those guys. He does have, some potential, has the ability to get lots of assist numbers as well as the points and the defensive stats. So if you want someone to take a chance on, Justice Winslow would be a good one, in my opinion, there too. We also put a picture here of Xavier Moon. Just wanted to give him a shout out for getting rostered in the NBA by the Clippers on a 10-day contract. He came up from the Canadian Elite Basketball League on the Edmonton Stingers. So shout out to the guy for getting rostered. That's pretty awesome.
Aiden and I actually got to watch him live, and he was very impressive then. And in his first game, he got minutes. I think he put up around 10 points and had like 6 rebounds, 4 assists, something like that. It's pretty impressive, considering some of these superstars in the league are very lacking now and then. So big ups to him. I hope he sticks around.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Stay safe.
Yeah, see you guys.